Hello, my name is Molly Simmons, and I am a junior at Iowa State University studying environmental science and global resource systems. This summer, as a Borlaug-Ruan intern, I had the privilege to work with the United Nations International Fund for Agricultural Development in the Americas Liaison Office, headquartered in Washington, D.C. Throughout the summer, I worked on many projects, including partnership with the United States Congress, the Global Food Security Reauthorization Act, the Memorandum of Understanding with the Alliance to End Hunger, and EFAD's programs, including the Crisis Response Initiative and ASAP Plus, a climate adaptation program. I met with members of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to educate them about the current global food security crisis and the way climate change, conflict, COVID, and costs are affecting rural livelihoods. Additionally, I discussed funding for the Crisis Response Initiative, EFAD's response to the war in Ukraine, and adding climate language to the upcoming Global Food Security Reauthorization Act, an act that funds USAID's Feed the Future program. EFAD's primary work is to build resilient livelihoods for rural people around the world. And the starting point for a world without poverty and hunger is the rural world, because around 45% of the global population lives in rural areas in developing countries. And most of these people depend on subsistence agriculture for their livelihoods. So EFAD focuses on long-term development, primarily with agriculture, because investing in rural people is a long-term solution to many of the problems we're facing today. My work this summer was important because people need to know about the problems facing global food security, especially in the midst of a current global food security crisis and a food, energy, and fertilizer crisis at the same time. And these problems are rooted in situations that won't go away soon, including conflict and climate change, among just a few. So one of the biggest things I learned this summer is the power of development. So research from USAID states that for every $1 spent on international development, $3 is saved in humanitarian aid down the road. Building resilient livelihoods like EFAD's programs will reduce the need for humanitarian aid down the road because people will be able to sustain themselves, and resilient livelihoods will mitigate against compounding shocks that may occur down the road. And educating that fact to Congress and other stakeholders is valuable to our efforts in improving livelihoods and preventing international crises. My favorite part of the experience was learning about the issues affecting global food security and just how interconnected everything is. And I got to use what I learned and apply it through education and learning about the policies that are affecting global food systems right now. I gained a lot of awareness about my values and how I can put them to action to make a difference, especially in being a global hunger fighter. This summer, I wanted to learn about policy because it's something I'm interested in pursuing throughout my career, and I really enjoyed learning about the policy process and the advocacy it takes to get policy into action. I can see myself doing this in my career, which is why I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to experience it and see what it's like to work in policy. But first, I would like to work on the ground with the people that I was advocating for this summer. Just as Norman Borlaug used to say, take it to the farmer. I love to take these principles that I applied and the principles that I've learned in my classroom to help farmers on the ground to improve their livelihoods and sustainability and resilience. This opportunity would not have been possible without many people. And for that, I would like to thank Gabe Laser, my supervisor, for all of his words of wisdom and support, and teaching me about policy and the passionate work of advocating for peace through agriculture and diplomacy. Thank you also to the staff in the Americas Liaison Office, including Joanna Veltri, the chief of the office, Rachel DeHaan, and Carmina Marquez for their support and assistance throughout my internship process. Finally, thank you to the World Food Prize Foundation and Rebecca Picard for their mentorship and help along the way. This is truly a valuable experience for me, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a global hunger fighter and to have worked for the International Fund for Agricultural Development.